Welcome back, guys. This is Sarah.
And I'm Erika. And we are Living Understaffed, the podcast about not having enough hands or hours and when your best just isn't very good.
So I think we all have felt the holiday time warp that is between December 20th to January 5th. I feel like we've all kind of felt the black hole that is that time period. Me especially, I feel like, let me see, went to Texas, traveled on 2 different trips with work, and then also went to Kansas City for New Year's Eve. And now we're in the middle of this wild Midwest ice storm nonsense. And I feel like I have done nothing but work and drive and work and drive and work and drive. And it's been bananas, you know? I think we talked about it on a couple episodes ago, but the trip to Texas was like emotionally jarring, and then immediately come back and we are busy as shit. Like, not only did I travel twice for work, but we also had 2 more events for the students at work, and then we had our office Christmas party. Let's just talk about how I was going to use holiday block leave as like my time to catch up on the last 6 weeks of crazy, and I got a little caught up on Thursday when we still didn't have any students, but on Friday we had a game day at the office. So as soon as the students got there at like 10:30, the day was just all games and food. So it's like, all right, there goes any possible option of productivity at all. And now we're in this ice storm. And for me, I can telework just fine. But in my office, it's like my comfort zone, you know? So I'm like, I know where everything is. I have my office supplies. I have this. I can work from home just fine, but I feel almost less productive because I don't have all of the things that I use on a regular basis. So I guess it would be different if I worked. It'd be different if I worked remotely for this job all the time. But on a positive note, I got a couple of new office supplies that I have to share. So we did a bunch of stocking stuffers for our coworkers, but this is a Sharpie, like, rose gold pen, and it's fucking heavy. It is. My Secret Santa gave it to me for Christmas, and I almost came in front of all my coworkers because I was like, it's so pretty. I have it with me every day. I'm going to run out of ink very soon. You're welcome. Your face says everything.
Send me the link, please. I think you already did, but I'm...
No. This is a different one.
I need it.
I have the other rose gold ones. This entire pen is rose gold. The entire thing.
Ooh.
And it's like metallic. It's fucking sexy if office supplies were sexy, and they are.
Yes.
So, sex on a stick.
I used an incredibly sexy pen to sign my separation agreement the other day.
Oh.
So I was like,
it speaks volume.
Calls for a sexy pen.
Correct. The other office supply that I got were also pens. And they are cuss word phrases on every single pen. This particular one, and I don't know why I've gotten into pink so much in the last couple of years, but I enjoy pink. This one says, "Bitch, you're doing a good job." And then
yes,
there's a couple others. I left them at work because I just like using them at work because I think it's funny when you're signing like government documents with cuss word pens. I think that's ironic and funny.
Yes.
I think the other one that I have is "People suck it up" or something, and I'm like, also, okay, sorry, weird tangent, but I have the blinds open to kind of bring in some more natural light into the room, and we're in the middle of this ice storm. It is currently thundering and lightning.
Love that for you.
Loud enough that I can hear it inside these noise canceling headphones. Yeah. So that's fun. I'm glad that I still have power and internet right now. That might not be the case in a few hours. So
Yeah.
Fun.
Fingers crossed that this uploads.
We're not going to talk about that. No, ma'am. No. I can't. I cannot. What about you? How have things been? Because it's been over a week since we've been able to like catch up.
Yeah. It's been good because we still have a few more things we have to do to set up the house, but like the kitchen is awesome and like the living room is like hangoutable. Like I did a puzzle. For people that don't know, if you are under the impression that I'm not actually an 80-year-old woman, I fucking love puzzles.
Yes.
Is it the neurodivergency? Probably.
Well,
I love puzzles the way Sarah loves crocheting. I am a fan. It tickles my brain in the right way. I love it so much. And I have been doing them at work because I sort of forgot how much I love puzzles. And our wellness program person was like, oh, like during the holidays, I have this puzzle. And I was like, I was like, oh, this is fun. And I put like a few pieces together and I was like, I love this. So I have done like 6 puzzles at work.
I love it.
Because why not? And I mean, it's not just me, like other people, especially before everyone was on leave, like me and one of the admin clerks, we would do like the puzzle together and like we had other people to come and like how it was genuinely like a lot of fun. And then I was at Walmart the other day and I was like, these puzzles are $10. I'm going to get a puzzle. So I got one and I did it yesterday. The whole thing by myself yesterday.
I love it.
And I'm like, but also this is the first time in a long time where I've had somewhere to do puzzles or like, I've been cooking a lot more because I genuinely like the kitchen and I like, I'm not just trying to disassociate. What's that meme where it's like, I wasn't depressed, I just needed a divorce? That is kind of where I'm at. I'm like, wow, I did not realize
there's petty things that I want to say that because you had a beautiful house where you had plenty of room to do puzzles, but were you told that no, you can't get that one coffee table or table to do puzzles and put it up in the house? Probably.
Yes. Exactly. So like I live in a smaller house. I have more people that I live with and I feel like this place is more mine than the last place was. And like my bedroom is tiny and I don't care. I'm like, feel like just a lot more like ownership over it. Just because, I am, for lack of a better term, allowed to do the things that I want to, like watch TV when I want to, watch the type of shows that I want to, like, because I was always frustrated by it, but I did not realize how
far the extent was.
Yes. Until I was like, this is the type of show that I want to watch. And he's like, well, I don't,
I'm not going to watch that.
And I'm like, okay, but you can try. Like, I don't like scary movies and he does. I tried to watch them with him. Like, there were some that I was like around Halloween, he's like, I would try. And he just wouldn't. He was like, no. And like, that is the thing where I was like, there were just so many things that I, being with somebody for so long, I just knew and just sort of had embodied it at that point that I'm just like, okay, like these are things that I can do and these are things that I just can't do. And now I don't have that. And I'm like, holy shit. All that energy that I was putting into making myself the version of myself that was like acceptable to be in my own house, I now don't have to do. And I can focus that on energy on cooking myself food, nutritious food to feed myself. So I'm not just eating peanut M&Ms. Do I still do that sometimes? Yes.
We all do.
So much better about it than I used to be. You know what I had for breakfast this morning? I had an apple.
Whoa. I mean, I can't talk shit. And we got on the recording and I was eating mac and cheese.
But it's food. It's food.
At
It's not
least
a
it's
law
food,
firm. So,
and it's not, well, I made myself a cup of coffee, but it does, I didn't drive into town and spend $12 on a single cup of coffee and then spend $12 on a fucking apple fritter. Like,
yeah.
I get it. That
Yes.
self-care
I
piece is
actually
a big
ate like a
deal.
real. Yeah. And I just was not, I think I just didn't have the energy because I was too busy. Not that I don't love my hobbies, like, not that I don't love this podcast or dance or whatever. And I was moving and that was exhausting. So I really did not have a lot of time to sit and think about like how everything was affecting me until like I sort of like just recently, you can probably tell by how much better I am at responding to you. Being able to actually have a spare second. And I'm like, wow, like I am sleeping like a normal person. I'm not like, I still take naps, but I'm not sleeping like 14 hours a day. I'm not even exaggerating. Like I would sleep 10 hours at night and then I would take, so maybe between 3 and 4 hours or 12 and 14 hours. Because on the weekend, I would wake up, I would like sleep for 10 hours and then I would take a mid-morning nap and then I would take another nap in the afternoon. That is a lot of sleep. And I was like, whatever. I just love sleeping. And I maintain I love a good nap.
Love
but
sleeping.
Now if I take a nap, I can't just go, like I took a nap last night and I did the same thing the other night and I couldn't get to sleep at like 10 p.m. like I normally can.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, normal people can't take naps at 6 p.m.? What?
The worst part is that I think it's also coming to an age question because we'll call it neurodivergence, but with my brain, I used to be able to drink coffee at all hours of the day. Didn't fucking matter. I could fall asleep 10 minutes later. I've noticed it the last few months that, like, say I'll leave work at 4, 5, 6 p.m. and I go to Starbucks and I'll have a cup of coffee because I have pod shit to do, or and I've mentioned it before, but I'll go to Starbucks and I will work on stuff on the computer because if I come home, I will sleep. I will lay down on my bed and I will say fuck the world, and I don't give a shit about what I have to do or the things that I'm obligated to. Like, nope, my bed is here, so I'm going to sleep. So I noticed it
in this economy. Who wants to be awake?
Not a single person. Also, Starbucks is way overpriced. So, like, if I'm gonna go there, I'm going to spend my time in the cafe and like utilize their Wi-Fi instead of my shitty forest Wi-Fi. And so I noticed that I got a cup of coffee. It was probably like 7 p.m. To me, that's not very late in the afternoon to drink coffee because I'll drink coffee at 2 a.m. and fall asleep 10 minutes later. I drink a grande.
Just coffee, like.
Oh yeah. But I drank a grande cup of coffee at 7 p.m. I couldn't go to sleep until 3 a.m. And I wasn't particularly anxious. There wasn't a shitload going on. I was just awake and I was like, that can't be the coffee. That can't be. So then Thursday, this like 2 days or a few days ago, Thursday, I drank a cup of coffee kind of late at night. I don't remember what time it was, but I was up all night and we had an event on Friday with the students, a game day. And like I've talked about it before, but I really love my job and I love interacting with people and like my students are really cool. So I love, messing with them and playing games and all that stuff. So the mental energy that it takes to be 110% the whole time, smiling, making sure that like everybody's taken care of and like, hey, are you having fun? Oh, hey, you don't have anything to do? Come over here and play this card game with this guy. Like, let's go. Like trying to keep everybody engaged and active means that your brain is working on like fucking overtime. By the time I got home Friday night, I slept 6 hours. I took a 6-hour nap on Friday, which was delicious, but that was more than that's more than I sleep at night. So I was awake all fucking night Friday night. We went to Eagle Days on Saturday, which is 30 some students that we drove an hour and a half to the lake to go see this beautiful, beautiful presentation, by the way, by the Missouri Conservation Board, but like beautiful presentation. By 2 p.m., I was in the van like,
I'm sure.
So, yeah, I finally slept last night, but I made myself take a couple of melatonin because I was like, bitch, you're going to sleep. You are going to go to sleep.
Yes.
So I think it's kind of an age thing. Not going to lie. That was a long story long. I think it's, yeah.
Hi, my name is Trisha, and I am the Vice President of the nonprofit Casey Book Beat. We aim to connect readers with local literary talent, fostering a deeper appreciation for the stories that shape our community. Through this catalog and our local events, we want to provide a platform for authors, bookstores, and publishers to reach a wider audience and strengthen their presence in Kansas City. We have so many amazing events coming up in the year 2025. We have our writers' workshop in January. We have a children's book fair in April and so many more, including our Casey Lit and Libations in May and August or November. Love to see you.
Okay, so today we are talking about women in male-dominated industries, and Erika has put a few things together. I have like 2 articles that I want to look at, but yeah, this is all you, boo.
So I was on
TikTok,
Instagram, well, and TikTok. It's like the women in male fields hashtag, which I find delightful. So, I am so glad that you looked up our actual articles because I didn't. I was like, these are funny, and I just spent my whole time.
It's okay.
Do you want to do your articles first, and then I'll do the hashtags after?
If you want to, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So,
more informed.
One that this is a quick take on women in male-dominated industries, like the types of occupations. So, some of those like latest data points, and this is from May of 2023, so I'm sure it's updated a bit. But women only make up 5% of those working in skilled trades in Canada. 8% of working women in Europe are working in male-dominated industries, and only 6.5% of women working full-time in the US work in male-dominated industries. So between 2020, February of 2020, and March of 2022, so just a 2-year difference, women saw a percentage increase of 7% in construction jobs and 15% in transportation and warehousing jobs, which is great. Okay, got it. Like, it's, 7 and 15% is fantastic. We can't make changes overnight, obviously, but that's fantastic. My roommate, actually, her and her best friend, when they get out of the military, are planning on opening a trucking business. Like, they're going to own their own couple of semis, and they're going to be called, Two Bitches Truckin'.
Yes.
I love that. I love that for them. But yeah, like I've actually seen a lot more female truck drivers in the last like 5-10 years than I have ever. My dad was a truck driver, so that's been kind of wild. This also says that challenges remain globally. While women's share of leadership roles have been steadily increasing, this has largely been in industries dominated by women. Energy 20%, manufacturing 19%, and infrastructure 16% were the 3 lowest ranking industries in terms of percentage increases. In Europe, the largest growth in jobs occurred among women in the past 2 decades, but these jobs have been in women-dominated sectors. So the increased percentages in a lot of the male-dominated workplace are harassment and discrimination, which is, as we know, shitty. So it says across the globe, women working in male-dominated industries are more likely to experience sexual harassment than those working in other industries. Erika, let me ask you this question. Working for the United States government, how often do you feel in your government career that you have either been harassed or discriminated against?
All the time. All the time. Where I work now? Not really. But the percentage of women that work in the office is much higher than anywhere that I've worked. And people are also a lot closer to my age, which I definitely think has a lot to do with it, specifically when it comes to working for the government. But yeah, no, definitely was sexually harassed. And then when I brought it up, they were like, some people just have hate in their heart. He probably feels bad. Do you want to ruin his career? He feels really bad about it. He's really nervous. He's been on admin leave for a really long time, which by the way is paid. So.
Okay. There was a situation in not in our specific department, but a neighboring department. And I've seen it with women too. So I'm not just pointing out the discrimination against men specifically. This also happened with women. The person went to this neighboring department. So it was a man going to a female, and she was kind of new. And he was I think he was maybe trying to be like getting to know her, their new coworkers, whatever. But he was wildly inappropriate about it. He asked at one point, "Do you and your husband have kids?" And she was like, "Yeah, no." And now, on the flip side, I've had way more conversations with her. I know that they've had some reproductive issues. That's a private conversation between her and I, right? Like, I know those things, but is she going to come right out and tell some dude that she just started working with? No, it's none of his goddamn business, right? So he persists and tells her, "Well, you're how old?" And I don't remember if she told him or not, but he goes, "Oh, well, you need to give your husband babies. You need to be popping out like 3 or 4 kids for him. You need to show him your love." Is that fucking real? So then this person not only did not get any punishment against this, like she filed, she had a whole case, there was an investigation, there was a whole fucking thing. Didn't lose his job, didn't go on admin leave, nothing. He got moved to another department.
Yeah.
Now, have I also seen that with women where a woman put in a complaint because she didn't like her coworker and they just ended up moving her and moving her and moving her and moving her? I know somebody in Fort Leonard Wood that they've moved her like 12 times. And she just keeps going. So again, I'm not just saying that this is discrimination, all men are terrible. That's not what I'm saying. But in a male-dominated industry, it's mostly going to be men. We're going to put it that way. This article goes on to say that women working in male-dominated industries face a variety of challenges in addition to sexual harassment that include societal expectations and beliefs that question women's leadership and managerial abilities. Blood pressure is rising. Pervasive stereotypes leading women to take on necessary but rarely rewarded office housework. Blood pressure is continuing to rise. High levels of stress, anxiety, depression, lowered self-esteem, and self-handicapping behaviors stemming from feelings of imposter syndrome. Been there. Lack of mentoring and career development opportunities. And this, folks, also ties in to our pretty privilege episode. I'm going to leave it at that for now because I can feel myself starting to get pit stains. This says, since women are the predominant caregivers in families, they are looked at unfavorably when they need to take time off in industries commonly lacking paid sick leave, like construction. Women use various mechanisms to cope with working in male-dominated work environments, such as overworking to prove themselves, which may eventually lead to early burnout, giving into pressure to act like one of the boys, exacerbating the problem by contributing to the normalization of a locker room culture, and or leaving the industry. Women sexually harassed at work are 6.5 times as likely to change jobs, often to one with lower pay. So, the last thing in this is the article it has like separated sections. This one talks about occupational segregation contributes to the gender gap. Women and men remain concentrated in different jobs and fields, a trend known as occupational segregation, which is deeply rooted in racist and societal bases and maintained by policy design. Factual. Occupational segregation is a
100%.
significant contributor to the gender and racial wage gap in the United States. Jobs that pay more are disproportionately held by white men, while those that pay less are disproportionately held by women, especially women of color. Male-dominated industries aren't the only sectors with a pay gap. Women earn less than men in 94% of occupations, even those that are dominated by women.
Yeah. Yep.
So, while my blood pressure is high and I'm starting to get angry, if we're being honest, I want to bring up a woman that I find wildly inspiring. And if I'm being entirely honest, the little girl inside of me is entirely jealous of her life. She is the 100th female astronaut. Her name is Emily Calandrelli, and I fucking love her story. So she has a big following on Instagram. She posts a lot. She's actually an MIT aerospace engineer and an Emmy-nominated TV host, a best-selling author on the New York Times list. She's wonderful. She also has Emily's Science Lab on YouTube. Like, she is phenomenal. Okay. So she put a post up right after she landed back from her trip to space. And she talked about how wonderful her husband is. So she was, as a little girl, I wanted to grow up and marry an astronaut. So she made like these little jokes about how instead of marrying an astronaut, she went to work for NASA and she married an engineer and she became the astronaut. And it was like I have goosebumps saying that. Like, that's so cool, right? They have two kids. And their goal as parents is to see their mom in a male-dominated industry crushing it. Not only is she a fucking baller, obviously, an MIT aerospace engineer, I don't even think I could be in the same room or the same building without being intimidated. Like, okay.
100%.
But also,
I would be so tongue-tied.
Hands down. Fucking hands down. So she also talks about raising her two kids, and I think they're both under 10 years old or kind of getting close to that. And she puts in a lot of effort as far as like making her daughter a strong little girl, but she puts in a lot of effort with her son also to help him see that he needs to respect women, that he can still be a strong dude, but you can still have emotional intelligence. And like it's really cool to see that. So if you guys go to Instagram, she is called The Space Gal. She's adorable. First of all, she's absolutely beautiful. But she puts up a lot of stories. She does Emily's Space Lab on YouTube, and it's really, really phenomenal. So if you guys ever get a chance to check her out, she's wonderful. Her husband is also an engineer at NASA. That's how they met. And it just like, it's just this beautiful thing. So is it possible for women to make it in male-dominated industries? Of course it is. But as we just discussed, right, women earn less than men in 94% of occupations. So I will stop bitching about this when that comes a little closer to 10%, not 94%.
Yes. Because and that's like, ugh. I'm trying to suppress every memory I have of some dude. Whenever I bring that up, they're like, well, actually, it's like, no. Mm-hmm. I've done research, and this is just how you feel. So can you calm down?
100%. Yeah. Can you come back to me when you have your emotions in check a little bit? Can we make that happen? Thanks.
When you're not being so emotional, you're getting a little hysterical.
Yeah. So the other article that I found, I can't. The other article that I found is I like the perspective, and it talks about the value of bringing women into male-dominated industries. So this writer talks about the challenges of working in male-dominated fields. So one, obviously numerous challenges for women that they need to overcome in male-dominated environments, from misogynistic comments and outdated attitudes to a lack of respect for male colleagues and an imbalance in pay. The communication differences between men and women can sometimes make it hard for women to be heard, which means staff need to adapt to get their opinions across or to feel like their opinions have the same impact as those as a male staff member, which is where that other article comes in, where some people shut down a little bit more or work extra hours or more to make themselves like fit in, or they adopt more of that male locker room persona, which have I done that? Like, if I put myself in those shoes, knowing that I work for the Army, knowing that the majority of the people that I work with are men, which ironically in my department, it's more women than men, which I absolutely love. But the majority of the soldiers that I work with are all men, and then I'm also working with however many different countries from around the world. And the majority of their armies don't even allow women into their military, So, like, for example, we had a Fijian woman come through, a Fijian officer. She is one of 12 female officers in their entire army. It's 2024. Like, now their army is vastly smaller than the US Army, obviously, but like one of 12? Woo! And she was super dope.
Even if it's like 200, it's still not.
Yeah. So I am grateful in a sense that the military is catching on to having more women in that industry. But you mentioned it, I think, on the last episode or two ago, that it was like, yeah, it's catching on, but it's 20 years behind. This article also goes to talk about, so it says, for women, one of the major challenges of working in male-dominated career is that there may be a limit on the number of opportunities for promotion, and that women may not feel like they're being included in company-wide discussions, which will have an impact on them as well as men. So for every 100 men promoted from an entry-level role to a managerial position, only 87 women are promoted and 82 are women of color, meaning women never catch up to the rate of male promotions. It can also appear, a male-dominated industry can also appear to be less innovative and reluctant to adapt, which can impact its ability to attract a wider pool of workers. When women are excluded from industries, it has a knockoff effect on customers, clients, and stakeholders, as well as investors, suppliers, and vendors. So in instances when women work in a male-centric environment, they often feel empowered and fly the flag for that particular underrepresented sector, like logistics, construction, and tech. So pioneering women raise the profile of their job and see themselves as role models for other women and young girls, as well as increasing the familiarity people feel when seeing women in traditionally male roles. Exactly like Emily Calandrelli. Like, the being an astronaut is a very, very tiny, 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 tiny percentage of the human population, right? But being the 100th female to go into space, it says something for the little girls out there that have big dreams. So it's wildly impressive. I think it's amazing. Let me see here. So there are qualities that women bring to stereotypically male jobs. And we've all seen this. And even men that don't want to admit it, it's there. So talent acquisition is listed. High competency levels is also listed, even though men would not agree with that. Employee loyalty. Statistically, women are more loyal when it comes to employment than men, meaning they'll commit themselves more to a role and stay with the same company for longer, which reduces recruitment costs for businesses and enhances company reputation. Hiring more women in your workplace doesn't just boost productivity, but it also reduces the cost and stress of replacing staff members when they choose to move on. Love that for men. Company reputation.
Yeah.
Company reputation is also on here. So when your business is staffed entirely by men, it gives you the impression that you don't care about equality or inclusion, which can damage your business's reputation. Customers today are more discerning and they want to support businesses that share their values. So showing a united front when it comes to inclusion and diversity can really enhance your brand and image. Sends a positive message about who your company is and what you want it to be moving forward. So hiring women is a positive action for individuals, businesses, and entire industries. Women can bring a lot to a team, and in industries that have typically excluded women, whether intentionally or not, businesses can see a real benefit to hiring more employees and diversifying teams. Boom. Like, is there anything else that needs to be said? Like,
no. I mean, yes, but no.
It's wildly frustrating. And let's get real. For the direction that the podcast is going, is this going to be our last episode on women in male-dominated fields? No.
No, this is a continuing trend.
Correct.
Because it is enraging. And we talk about how we are not a political podcast, but this is not a political, these are facts. This is a thing that has been going on for years and years and years throughout. Like, this is something that is important.
Yep.
This is a thing that is important. And if nothing else, regardless of how you feel about it, you should be informed on the statistics of how things are progressing, either for good or not, because it affects everybody. Like, the patriarchy is it's not men. It is a system that affects all of us.
Yeah.
And it has implications. Like you just said, like, it is better for companies if they hire women, but they still don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
What's the point?
So
what is the actual point?
Yeah. Yeah. So there are so many things that go into it, and it's so, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to cut myself off because this is enraging. My blood pressure is really high, and I have some things that are also enraging, but hilarious.
Take it away.
So I'm sure everyone's seen the women in male fields hashtag on Instagram or TikTok. And I got some because they're so funny and they're so true. Oh my God. This one I have experienced personally. I think all women have. I told him I want to see him more. But make zero effort to see him.
Fuck you,
How
Erika.
many times have you heard that, Sarah?
Oh my God.
How many times have you been like, oh, I miss you? And it's like, yeah, you haven't texted me for a week. I don't know what you...
You're right.
what
You're right. Or
like,
here's here's one thing that really fucking gets to me is that the person's like, oh, I got busy. And I'm like, bitch, do you think that I am literally sitting here on my thumb spinning, waiting for me to respond to you? Like, waiting for... No, motherfucker. Like, I am also fucking busy. Just because you're busy doesn't mean shit. It means you didn't make time. That's what that means.
Yes. Yes. Or are you busy, or is it just your job and your regular life responsibilities? Because I do a lot of stuff. I'm fucking busy. So if you can't hang, we're clearly not a good match. So bye, Felicia. Saying, I don't know how I'm going to move on, and then sprinting to Hinge to add new pictures that my ex took. Correct.
Ooh, yep.
Just try to explain the women in male fields trend to a man, but he didn't find it funny. So I told him not to be so sensitive, and it's not that deep. I'm doing that. I am doing that.
My challenge to any listener, any of our female listeners, I challenge you to do that. 100%.
Please. And then tell us about it.
Yes, please.
He sent me a 3 paragraphs about how he wanted to be treated better, and I responded to the most irrelevant part with gaslighting. I was like, oof. Triggered. Ooh. It is really validating because I'm like, okay, it's not just me. It was him the whole time.
100%.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, okay, we figured this out now. Got it. Thank you for that.
This was probably one of my favorites also. When he ruins my day by getting mad at me for something I definitely did, and then just say, can we just have a good day?
You know how we were talking earlier about how we got divorced for a reason?
Yep. Ooh, same, girl. There are certain things that I'm like, ooh, getting a little heated up in here. This is also I know I keep saying they're all my favorite, but they're so good. Telling him to lift heavier weights so he doesn't look so feminine.
God. Wow. Oh.
This is one that has a special place in my heart because I think all women have seen that stupid fucking meme that some incel keeps circulating about like a key that can open a lot of locks is a really good key, but a lock that can be unlocked by a lot of keys is a shitty lock. Which, first of all, that's gross. Secondly, penises are not keys and vaginas aren't locks. So I don't.
Can we move on from that? Like, what are you, 7?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it was always like Confucius. Like,
yeah, Confucius say, he who stands on toilet gets high on pot. Congratulations. Enjoy yourself.
yes.
Idiots.
Yes. And this one is just showing how fucking ridiculous it is. Men shouldn't have high body counts because a mouth brushed by many toothbrushes is very clean, and a toothbrush that has brushed many mouths is filthy.
Oh my God.
I'm bringing that up. If anybody ever says that shit to me again,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I know. I'm like, I love that. When he asked why I cheated, I told him it's in my nature and I was ovulating. I'm a woman with needs. I will say, I can tell which matches I have on Tinder that I was ovulating because I was like,
oh, yeah. Oh, yes. What are we actually doing here?
Yes.
That's that time where I talk to myself that I'm like, Sarah, you need to get your hormones under control, buddy. What?
Yes, it's like, ma'am.
I will unmatch a motherfucker real quick when I'm not ovulating. Like, listen. No.
Yes. Yes. And then the second you are, it's like, okay, calm down. You can take care of it yourself. It's okay.
This is why we have hands and toys, people. This is
yes. Yes. Cause I look back on it and I'm like,
why? For what purpose?
What?
Well, we all know what purpose.
Or they start texting me. Yeah. Or they'll start texting me like a week later or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah.
How did you get through?
First of all, a week later, you've already lost points. You've already lost points, especially like if I swipe right on someone and it says that they've already swiped right on me, I'm like, okay, you're going to get a notification that we've matched, right? So it's a week later. Yeah. No, you're already done. You've already checked out.
Yeah. Correct.
Oh, have you seen, sorry, I'm interrupting with this one thing. Have you seen the woman?
No.
I love her so much. I have followed every single story. She has started the 2024 Dating Hunger Games. Have you seen her?
No.
Oh my God.
Send me a reel.
This woman is my hero, first of all. So she decided that she was going to basically do what men do and just swipe right on everybody. On everyone. Okay? She did it on like 200 plus profiles. Okay? So she sent them a message, like a fucking generic message that says, welcome to the 2024 Dating Hunger Games. Here are the parameters. Like, it's just a short little paragraph of like, what is happening. Already like 50 people unmatch her, right? Because they're like, oh, I'm not fucking dealing with this, right? So now she's down to 150. So she goes through and she tells like a daily update or maybe every other day. And then she gets to the point that she starts like maybe going on dates with people and she gives them nicknames. There's like Blue Chris and Purple Chandler. And there's like and then there's like Green Chris and Blue Chris. And like, oh my God, it's fucking hilarious. And then if they don't work out, so like one thing, she'll even show screenshots of their messages. If they don't work out, she'll send a message that says, thank you for participating in the 2024 Hunger Games. And then And it's like another paragraph that it's like, yeah, this isn't gonna work out, whatever. But she is like communicative about it, where she's like, listen, this isn't gonna work out. It doesn't feel like you're interested, and I'm not gonna chase blah 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 blah. Like she is like openly communicating with these men. And then the next video that she makes is she pays tribute to the fallen. So she like says goodbye to these people.
Which ones have like not made it?
I will I'll make sure to superimpose her username in the show, but I'll definitely put it in the show notes because shit is hilarious, and I want to reach out to her and bring her on the podcast because that shit so fucking funny. It's so funny. So anyway, I love that.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
All I was going to say is that, you know, we're talking about women in male-dominated industries. Men traditionally are the serial daters sleeping with whatever will take their clothes off, right? She has put herself in those shoes and is showing men how it feels. Do you know what I mean? And again, I know she's not doing it maliciously. She's like, I actually want to find someone to spend time with. I get it. But like, I love her. I love her a lot. So anyway.
Oh, also, as a person who also grew up in the 90s, do we not remember Flavor of Love?
Flavor Flav. Oh my God.
Before anyone gets fucking high and mighty about that shit.
I love that.
Or The Bachelor.
Oh yeah. Or what's oh my God, what was her name? The short little Asian chick that they did after Flavor Flav.
Oh, Tila
my.
Tequila.
Yes.
I don't remember what the show is called, but
I don't either, but Tila Tequila was 100%, yeah. And I think she's still married to that dude.
Yeah.
Is she? Or did she? I don't think, or did she like, I think the whole hype was that she didn't choose anyone. She chose herself or some shit. I don't remember.
Something like that.
I'd have to look it up again, but yeah.
But yeah. Oh, before anybody says anything, I think we can all acknowledge what we grew up on. So.
Correct.
Calm down. I have two more. When he asks you, or blah, 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 when he asks me what I like about him, and I just say everything he does for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a guy do this. I have seen men do this about their wives, though.
Yeah.
Oh, like what is she like? And he's like, oh, she's really, you know, she's really good at keeping the house clean and raising the kids and.
Okay. I'm gonna say this one story. My ex was a drill sergeant and a workaholic. And I'm a workaholic. I'm not judging on that.
Yeah.
So
same.
he used to come home and bitch about how one other drill sergeant, he and his wife had like 5 kids. He used to come home and bitch how this other drill used to leave work all the time to take his kids to doctor's appointments because the other kids would be at school or his wife would be at work or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's because that's what happens in a partnership. That's what you do to help out your spouse, right? He came home one time and he was bitching. Oh, excuse me. He was bitching about that same guy, how he left to go take care of his kids for an hour so that his wife could go to her OBGYN appointment by herself. And my ex was pissed off about it because this other drill took a couple hours off of work. And I was like, okay. And then the last year that we were married, we lived on post. His company obviously was on post. And then I had an optometry appointment to get my eyes dilated because it'd been a couple years at the hospital on post. This motherfucker couldn't leave. And I set it up to where I had a coworker drive me. No, I drove to work. And what happened? Oh, I set it up so that the next morning I would have a coworker pick me up and bring me to my vehicle at the hospital so that I could drive to work. But I needed a ride home, right? He said he would be there. He said he would leave work to come at least just drive me from the hospital to our house on post. We live, like, everything was within 5 minutes of each other, right? A triangle.
Literally. It's like maybe a mile.
Maybe. He didn't show up. So I'm sitting in the waiting room with eyes dilated, can't see for shit, can't drive for sure, and there's not enough sidewalks on this base for me to feel comfortable walking all the way home. And he was like, well, I'm at work. I figured you would understand. I'm a drill sergeant. Okay. So I had, and this happened.
Which
like,
I hate.
It's true, but
because if you work with soldiers, you know that they can take time off.
Correct.
They just don't want
They just choose not to. So the fact that, like, you know, a man would be like, oh, well, you know, she takes care of the house, but, like, okay, does she have a personality? Does she work? Does she handle all the bills? Like, fuck off. Oh, I hate that so much.
What are her hobbies? Is she hardworking? Is she, like, literally any personality trait that doesn't have anything to do with you? Yeah. Yep. Which leads me to my last one. And this is one that I heard and it legitimately blew my mind because I can't fucking tell you how many times I've heard this or I've heard women say that men have said this to them. And it always rubbed me the wrong way and I didn't know why until it was put in perspective for me. I told him you deserve better instead of just being better. It's embarrassing how, like, it was until I saw that I was like,
Again,
what?
ladies, we have, well, anyone that's in the dating world, anyone that's in a relationship, anyone that's in a situationship, effort is one of the sexiest things that your partner can bring to the table, right? We've talked about this. My table's fucking full. I have a career. I have a house. I have a car. I have family. Like, I don't fucking need anybody. I don't need a single goddamn person. I make space for someone to share my time, right? If they put in effort, sexiest fucking thing. Sexiest thing. I watched a reel the other day. This lady, she's like, my husband and I have been married for 20 years. She's like, you know what the sexiest thing is? Effort. She's like, I came home and my husband had taken the filter from the dishwasher, replaced it, and ran it on a test cycle to just make sure everything was put back together correctly. She's like, do you know how fucking wet I was when he was explaining it to me? I was like,
yes, correct.
Yes, I do. And then she was like, and then the next day he came in and he fixed, there was like a mantle or something that had broken because of their dogs, like it was wobbly. She's like, the next day, it was a Saturday, he came in with his tools, he fixed the mantle and didn't say a single thing about it, didn't ask for validation, didn't say, hey, honey, look what I did. He just did it. She's like, that man got laid so hard that night. So hard.
Like,
also 100%.
Correct. Yes. I mean, my ex-husband is my ex-husband for a reason, but I will say when we had foster kids, they were little. They were like toddlers. And there was one time where we had four. So we had 2 3-year-olds, no, 2 2-year-olds, a 3-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And it is, everyone's melting down. It is chaos, complete anarchy in the house. And there is something about children that they're like, only mom will do. So I'm sitting there literally under a pile of babies and Nolan comes up and like distracts them. He had gotten earlier that day, he'd gone to run to the grocery store, got me some Reese's peanut butter cups, hid them in the pantry, took the girls and was like, hey, we're going to go play outside. And he was like, hey, I got you some Reese's peanut butter cups. Do you want to go take a nap? And I was like,
love that.
It's the little things, man.
It is the little things.
Very hot. Very hot. Or just like, oh, I noticed you like this thing about me. Or like, I noticed you like this thing, so I'm going to remember that thing. So hot. Just,
I'm gonna
and bonus points if it's not a sexual thing. If it's like,
correct.
I noticed you like strong coffee, so I made you some strong coffee. Or like, I noticed you like whatever.
Mhm.
Like, I know you don't like carrots, so I didn't put carrots in this thing. Like, literally, that's all.
Yeah. I'm gonna give a hot tip to anyone who listens to this. The 12 people so far that we know that listen to this. I have a note in my phone. It's literally the people in my life. I have a note in my phone.
Mhm.
And for example, Erika, that paint color behind you, I made a little note in my phone that I was like, if you find anything of this color, get it for her because it fucking complements your skin tone like a champ, right? I did the same thing with my ex-husband. I know that he liked a particular football team. He liked a particular hockey team, a particular baseball team. I wrote all that shit down, right? He loved Poppy from the Red Sox. So when Poppy fucking retired, all right, we're getting some things, like we're getting some things of his retirement memorabilia, whatever. So there were a lot of things. The dates, like he was fairly sentimental. The date that he built his first muscle car with his dad, that was like a big date for him. I wrote that shit down. Guys, we all have smartphones, the majority of us, even some of our fucking 5-year-olds that are in my neighborhood. Everyone has a fucking phone. Make a note and type that shit in. Because then, you can make the excuse of like, oh, well, I couldn't remember that, but it's in my phone. You can go look it up. The number of times that I was told that I was very hard to shop for makes me enraged. Because my thing is effort. That is the number one sexiest thing that someone can bring to the table. If you tell me that I'm hard to shop for, you've literally not listened to a single fucking conversation we've ever had. Ever.
Yes. Also, if anybody ever is like, I want something, I want to get you something, I want to do something for you or whatever, like self-care stuff aside, like know me well enough to know that I want you to do something for me.
Mhm.
If you do something for me that I don't have to ask you to do, even if it's just put gas in my car or clean my car out, take it to the car wash, or make me dinner, or like, hey, I remembered you said that you really wanted to do this thing. Let's go do that thing together. Like, that is what I want. Anything that I want that is a thing I can buy myself.
Correct.
Not that those things aren't appreciated, but like,
yeah. Correct.
Show me that you know me or I don't care. I spent a lot of my 20s appreciating mediocre gifts. And now I'm like, I'm not going to bend over backwards. I'm not going to bend over backwards because you did the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the least amount you could have possibly done and still been able to say like, oh, I got you something for Christmas. Okay, great. You got me a $30 gift for Christmas. I spent $150 on you. I made dinner. I made dinner for you and everyone. Like, I made little gifts for everyone, like all of our friends, all of both of our families, called everyone, all like,
I'm going to make your blood pressure rise.
Got the truth.
I'm going to make your blood pressure rise. Because
thank you.
So I am the same way, where I put in a shit ton of effort because I love making other people feel good. That brings me joy. That fills my cup.
Yes.
Take a deep breath. Not everyone has that same end game, which includes a lot of people in our lives. I will put in 110% effort when it comes to someone's birthday when it comes to Christmas, when it comes to a celebration, because I believe that people should be celebrated. That is a huge thing for me that makes me feel good. I had a very rough realization, but a very hard pill to swallow. Not everyone is going to bring that same energy to the things that I bring energy to. So my birthday celebrations for another person, phenomenal. Most of the time, they're surprises. Most of the time, there's some kind of surprise element that I worked really fucking hard on to either keep a secret or bring the secret, right? The gift, everything has a whole shit ton of thought and intention put behind it. The person in my life, the family member, the whoever, my friends, most of the time are not going to bring that same energy for my birthday. And I spent almost 10 years being upset with my ex because A, he would either volunteer to go TDY somewhere and he was always gone for my birthday. He was only, I think for 10 years, he was only here for 2 birthdays. And the one birthday was like the day after. But I think that birthdays are important. He doesn't. That's not a thing for him, right? There was one particular birthday that we bought a trip and I woke up in Rome on my 30th birthday, which was incredible. But the first comment, and it didn't ruin anything, but it dampened things a little bit. The first comment was, does this make up for all the other birthdays that sucked? No. But like, it helped, you know, there was actually effort put in that time, you know, but the hard line that we both are not good at, and I'm okay saying that for both of us, is that other people don't bring the same energy to things that we do, and we have to accept that. We have to.
Yes, true. And I need to, if I'm choosing to spend my time with somebody and that is important to me, I need to make sure that either A, it's communicated, like, it's my birthday and it would mean a lot to me if you did something. Or just holding myself accountable that if this person shows me that they don't find my birthday important, maybe they're not for me. And that doesn't mean they're a bad person. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. That doesn't mean that anything bad happened. It just means this is something that's important enough that I want to keep, and they deserve not to be resented for something that is just who they are.
Correct. And deserve not to be resented for maybe the effort that we would have put in is not the same amount of effort that they would have put in. So their level of effort that they exerted was still higher than what they probably would have normally done, but that's still 10 levels beneath what we would have done. That's also something that we have to accept because we also watched our partner put in more effort than what was originally expected. Does that make sense? So like, yeah, it's, I used to get really upset about that shit. Used to get really upset. And then I believe it was my therapist in Germany that was like, but you have different energy than he does. He's not going to put in the same shit that you do. And I'm like, how dare you? But also, you're right. Like, fuck.
Yeah, I think, and it's true. And for me, it was like, we definitely did it to each other because there were things that he was like, I do all this stuff for you. And I was like, I didn't ask you to do any of that stuff. And then I would do the same thing. And he'd be like, I didn't ask you to do that. And I'm like, damn it.
Yep.
And yeah, just like, and again, this goes back to us like being single in our 30s versus in our 20s and being like, okay, like how, yes, men can be shitty. How do we not waste our time on ones that aren't compatible with us? Because it's not, we are done. Just women in general, we are done trying to fix men that don't want to be fixed.
Correct.
And don't need to be fixed.
Correct, madam.
Anyway.
Blood pressure. One thing that we have continuously succeeded at is raising each other's blood pressure and hurting each other's feelings. So happy Sunday to us.
Every time.
Jesus Christ.
Every time. Well, I'm going to go have a beer. So at least I'll be with one of my friends from I met her in Missouri. She PCS to Colorado, and now she's PCSing to Germany. So she's stopping here because she used to live here. And then we're gonna hang out this afternoon before she leaves.
Awesome. I'm wildly jealous. I want to go back to Germany so hard. Oh my God. So badly.
I'm starting over again.
Okay.
I'm starting over again. Whew. Okay, that's it for us, everybody. Sarah's laughing at me. Anyway, we did too good on our intro.
That's true. That has to be it.
May 10th. That has to be it. May 10th, we're going to be in Kansas City for Lit and Libations with Casey Bookbeat. If you haven't already, listen to the episode with Trisha Otis. She's the owner of Sunfox Books and the vice president of Casey Bookbeat. Very cool. The whole organization is awesome. But specifically, the event that we are going to be at is Lit and Libations on May 10th. We still have merch. Very exciting. It's all great. You definitely should buy it. Our book club, which this month we're reading Beyond the Veil by Harper L. Woods. It's a great book. So far, I just started it. I'm not going to lie because, it cut into my disassociating time. Also, Discord. We love talking to you guys so much. Please join the Discord. It's so much fun in there. We talk about books. We talk about songs. We have a pets one, and I recently acquired a dog, and her name's Daisy. She's very cute, and she deserves all of the love and attention that she could possibly get and be showered upon her because she deserves it. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thought you having a good void. See you next time.